Hey guys, Megan here again. I'm sitting waiting for therapy, and I thought I'd do a little video maybe about therapy and how important I think it is to get therapy. There's lots of different kinds of therapy. I'm in a couple different kinds. Just normal talk therapy. I go to hospice for that. Recently losing my brother to cancer, so hospice gives free counseling for that. You can also go as a community member, and it is free. So if you have a hospice around you, you can call and ask and see if you can get in as a community member, even if you haven't gone through hospice with someone who's died. That's an option for some people. If I know it's so hard to find therapy that's not super expensive. So that's a thought in case you're looking for therapy and need some. There's always hotlines as well. I've used a couple of those in times of need that you can easily look up on Google. Right now, I'm waiting for my EMDR therapy, which is pretty interesting. They kind of work with a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder issues. Sometimes the way it's been explained to me is sometimes the brain processes memories in the wrong way, and so that they feel like they're still happening now and they really happened like several years ago or a week ago or however long that span of time is. So they're trying to reprocess your brain into thinking this isn't a current situation, this is someone that happened in the past, so that you can easier come to terms with things. My kind of stuff is mostly with my brother and his death, with the post-traumatic stress stuff. I'll still wake up in the night with a panic attack thinking he's still here, still dying, or I need to go help him with something and he's gone. So I've still a fair amount of problems with that. They usually start with one memory and sort of try to reprocess that and then continue on with other memories. I've only done one memory so far. It's just taken a long time to work through a lot of that. I also go to something called CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, which I personally have not found super helpful as of yet. I'm very logical as it is as a person, and CBT is definitely for a logical progression of things in a therapeutic way. What is an example I could use? They do very practical things, for an example, oh, I'm realizing that when I listen to this in this song, it makes me really sad, or it makes me I'm just sobbing or something. Well, maybe right now you shouldn't be listening to that song. Maybe you should be listening to, get on iTunes and find a new, person to listen to or something, so that you're not re-triggering yourself with bad memories and stuff like that. That's a simple one. Movies can be triggers. Anything can really be a trigger, but trying to find a sort of pinpoint those things and kind of retrain your brain to not go to some of those things, so that you're not so triggered by them, and you have space between them. One thing for me is I'm an introvert, so I don't have a whole lot of friends and not a lot of support system. So I tend to sometimes go back to people that are really toxic for me. So one of the things we've talked about, which is so obvious, but sometimes it needs to be reprogrammed in the brain, maybe every time you're lonely, don't text a person that's super toxic, that is super toxic, just because you're lonely. That's one of mine. That's super hard not to do because I just don't have very many friends. So that's a different kind of therapy, and not just talk therapy. They're very practical. She's given me some exercises and meditation, relaxation sort of programs that you can easily find on iTunes. I think if you just search like mindfulness, you can find some that pop up that are like take you through steps of like a meditative situation or system, or I don't know what the right word for that is. So that can be super helpful. I definitely am a person that does meditation, but it's good to do it on a really practical, very consistent basis, and I'm not always super good about that. So that can be helpful. I'm just already a logical person, so that kind of is obvious to me. But I'm still going because I still feel like there are some good things about it, like not texting toxic people and not listening to those songs that trigger you or those movies that trigger you or whatever. There's lots of other therapies out there. I just happen to go to those three: talk therapy, EMDR, and CBT. I think therapy is super important for people with bipolar or with any sort of mental illness, or really almost anybody that's struggling with almost anything. Because you can really just talk some stuff out, get some stuff out of your system, so you're not just holding it all in and keeping it all to yourself, especially if you're introverted and don't have a lot of people to go to talk through stuff. So my, I guess, lesson today is go therapy. Find therapy that's good for you. It can make a huge difference, especially if you can't get meds. A lot of times, like, seeing a psychiatrist is like another extra bill. It's super daunting, and you can't get to that. So at least having some therapy, having some backup, and that way is at least a step in the right direction. If you're still like working out meds, which I certainly am, I'm gonna switch my meds again. So I understand the frustration with meds. I'm sure I'll talk about that in another video. But yeah, I think therapy can be a lifesaver. It definitely has been for me. So yeah, hope this afternoon is treating you well. Peace out.